Okay, so I didn't know if you guys knew this, but basically, if you guys are 147 centimeters or basically 4'10", no matter what gender you are basically considered a midget, aka a dwarf or whatever. The other day, I went up to a really short person and called them a midget, and they went all like, oh, like that's inappropriate. That's like calling me the R word, which I mean, I don't know. I guess everyone's gone soft nowadays, but I'm gonna be honest here. I'm still living in like 2017 in my head, so I don't know. But basically, guys, today's story is about how I did a midget. Make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, did I mention join the Discord server down below? Seriously means a lot when you guys do, and also it's a lot of fun down there. And you guys can tell your crazy stories to me, and well, maybe one day I'll use them on the channel. But I mean, other than that, let's get straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story takes place, funny enough, back when I was in high school in my grade 10 year. This is when I was really doing the stuff, you know, doing the devil's tango and stuff all the time. But I remember one time out of nowhere, I was swiping on Tinder left and right. If you guys don't know, that was usually my prime time to really find chicks that I wanted to go do the devil's tango with, because well, at that point in time, a lot of girls in my school weren't interested in me yet until I pulled off a lot of, well, F-boy stuff. I don't know why. Apparently girls like going for the guys that aren't good for them at all, and then they go for the nice guys later on in life when they realize that they've been mistakes, and well, they become a lost cause. But anyways, going on, I remember I was on Tinder and I saw this really hot chick on there, and I swiped right because obviously she was attractive, she was like really cute, and she didn't look bad at all. I remember I swiped on her, and apparently she accepted me right away on the spot, meaning that she saw my page already and she was already interested. I swiped into her DMs, and she was kind of like talking to me here and there, and I ended up adding her on Snapchat. When I added her on Snapchat, she would never actually like full on show her like full body, if you guys know what I mean. Like she refused to send any mirror pics or anything of like any type of photo where I can identify what her body is like. And me back in high school, that was really like all I knew how to do. It sounds really bad, but in reality, most guys would go through this during high school, okay? Don't make fun of me. But going on, I remember as like, you know, she was sending me Snapchats. I remember one time I was kind of just really like trying to wonder what she looked like, so I asked her for her Instagram. She followed me on Instagram, and I followed her. And by the way, you guys should follow me on Instagram as well. If you guys don't know already, it's called BabaStreams. I'm the hottest guy in the world, so it makes sense to. Anyways, like I was saying, basically from there, I saw that she did the same thing on Instagram. She never posted anything with her full body or anything to identify even how tall she is. In my head, I was thinking, oh, maybe she's like, you know, insecure or whatever about her body. Who knows? Maybe I'll just wing it and just hope for the best for this girl. Because, you know, most guys usually do like a full-on like, yo, check me out kind of thing, or check you out in a sense. But I guess I couldn't really check her out other than her face. But her face was attractive, and her face wasn't like, you know, enlarged to look fat, you know? So it makes sense that like she wasn't fat at all or something. She was just really insecure about something. I wasn't sure what. Going on though, I remember one time I snapped her and I said, hey, like, do you want to meet up today? Like, I got nothing to do and I'm bored. And basically I was still in school in my math class as I was doing this. She sent me a Snapchat saying, I don't really know if you want to do that. Like, maybe you could just snap instead. And in my head, I'm thinking, why are you on Tinder then if you just want to snap me? Like, what? And she's like, okay, yeah, fair point, fair point. Okay, you know what? We can meet up tomorrow after school, maybe like around the park. The park? Okay, sure. Like, I'm down. And I remember that whole entire day at school, I was trying to think of what this girl would look like her full body wise and everything. I kept going up to my friends thinking, yo, like, do you know like how tall this girl could be? Like, oh, do you know like how like this girl might look? Do you think this girl got cherries? To all my friends, trying to figure out if this girl was actually attractive or not, because I don't know, I could be walking into like dead space here. And my friend walked up to me saying, I swear I saw her before. I think I saw her at the park one time. And I'm like, oh, like that's where I'm meeting her tomorrow. He's like, oh, there's something odd about her, but I can't put my finger on it, is what he told me. So I was just kind of like, whatever, you know what? I'll save for tomorrow. The next day when I ended up finishing up school, I instantly went straight to the park. I drove my car straight there, and when I got there, I remember I parked my car and basically walked outside and looked around. I saw nobody, straight up nobody, except a bunch of kids playing in the playground. It was really awkward, and I remember I kind of just sat at the bench near the playground, and I was just waiting for her to come by. Then I ended up snapping her saying, yo, like, where are you? And she snapped me back saying, oh, like, I'm literally right here. Right here? One thing led to another. I ended up seeing her go down the slide, and when she stood up from going down the slide, she was a straight up dwarf, aka midget, aka tiny person. She was a tiny person. And I remember she literally like kind of waddled up to me saying, hi. And I'm like, no way. Like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I should laugh because she went down the slide. I didn't know if I should laugh because she's a tiny person. I don't know. This was one of my like really rare encounters with a tiny person. The only times I've seen a tiny person is in cartoons or they're actual children. So I remember I looked at her and I'm like, how tall are you? She's like, I'm 4'7". 4'7"? I can put you in my pocket. Like, it was so out of the blue to the point where I remember when me and her, we were walking beside each other, I felt like I was walking with my little sister. Like, it was just super weird. I remember I ended up asking her, like, do you meet up with like guys often? And she's like, oh, like, well, some guys like me fun-sized. Fun-sized? What does that even mean? I was so like just surprised on how this girl was a straight up midget on Tinder, meeting up with guys that are probably like 6 foot and giant, destroying this thing. Part of me didn't want to even do the devil's tango with her because I wouldn't know how to. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember me and her, we ended up going in my car and she's like, oh, like now that you see me, like we can go back to my place. And I straight up went back to her place. And when I got to her place, I realized that her whole family was a bunch of dwarfs. Like literally, the way I knew this, by the way, is because when I was entering through her door, I saw like a tiny kitchen, and then the kitchen was like normal size, like part of it was, and the rest of it was like tiny, but no one was home. I asked her if she lives on her own, and she's like, oh, like no, like I live with my older brother, but like that's it, like he's always out. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And when I saw the family picture, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I chuckled because there was a family picture posted on the wall. It was really, really weird. Going on with the story, I remember basically me and this girl, we ended up going to her room and we sat on her bed, and her bed was actually like kind of tiny. Like literally everything about this girl was tiny. And I remember when I sat on her bed, I felt really awkward because like her room was like kind of like pink and pretty and stuff. I mean, knowing we were only in grade 10 high school, I mean, like it makes sense that she didn't get rid of all her middle school cringe stuff, Andy stuff. So I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm just talking to her and I'm like, so you want to tell me how like midget stuff works, is what I asked her. And she looked at me, she's like, oh, like we're basically the same as like other people, we're not much different, we just are just smaller. Right, but like what if you like want to drive? And it's like she brought up this whole YouTube video of like how like short people drive and stuff. I have no idea. It was a lot to process through. Anyways, for the part you guys were all waiting for, yes, one thing led to another. Me and her got really close during a movie and we ended up doing the devil's tango. But one thing I will say, when I ended up getting really close to her and me and her were like midway through, I ended up stopping the entire thing and kind of getting off the bed, kind of just looking at myself and kind of being grossed out. Cause like, I don't know, she was just super tiny and like, I don't know, it just, in my mind, it's awkward. Because like, if you really think about it, like people that are that height are children. So it just felt really weird. So I remember I kind of just backed off and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is not like the right time for me. Sorry. Like I'm super exhausted. You know, I kind of made up any excuse. And when I remember when it ended up going downstairs while I was putting on my shirt, I ended up seeing her older brother or her older, shorter brother, whatever, her midget brother basically was in the kitchen and he saw me and he's like, what are you doing here, Buster? Buster? I'm just leaving right now. And she comes downstairs crying, the sister, or you know, the girl I originally met on Tinder. She literally like starts crying as she's coming down the stairs going, bro, like he didn't like me, like he thinks I'm weird. Oh my goodness. She got the whole story out of question. I remember this guy, he walks up to me and I remember in my head I'm thinking, do I laugh or do I actually take this serious? And then I remember her older brother ends up locking the door and he's like, you're not allowed to leave until you give me an explanation of what just happened. I looked at him, I walked up to him, and I'm not even joking, I think it was 4'10" and I could literally drop kick this guy too easy. But basically I walked up to him saying, yeah, I'm not interested. I unlocked the door because it was more higher up close to me, and I basically pushed him aside with my leg and walked out. I'm not even lying, I literally did that. He got really offended, but I did what I had to do because I was not interested in his sister at all, or midgets in general. For any midgets watching this video, I have nothing against you guys. This is just something that happened back in grade 10, just saying that right now. So quick warning, and YouTube, don't demonetize me because this is just pure honesty here. But other than that, that was basically the story of how I got with a midget. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, means a lot when you guys do. And also follow me on Instagram. Anyways, other than that, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.
My name is Baba. I'm still on top of the world. Never take away your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record. Got that TikTok with 2 mil hit different with some more. She said she love me, she kept. Should I exit for sure?